in the bustling heart of New York City, surrounded by skyscrapers that scrape the sky and crowds that never seem to stop moving, lived a man named Ethan Cole. To the world, Ethan was just another face in the endless stream of people. A man with dreams bigger than his circumstances, but with a trail of failures behind him. Ethan had tried everything. He failed his college exams 3 times, each time with the sting of disappointment sharper than the last. He attempted to start half a dozen small businesses, selling used books, creating a food truck, even a tech gadget store. But every one of them shut down before the year ended. He went to interviews, suit pressed, and resume polished. But time after time the words, "We regret to inform you," landed in his inbox. Neighbors whispered, friends distanced themselves. Some even laughed, calling him the man who fails at everything. Ethan carried those words like chains, but in his heart, he still carried a fire. Every failure hurt, but every failure also whispered, "Try again." The call to adventure. On a cold evening in November, Ethan sat in a small café, staring at the empty page of his notebook. His 100th attempt, a digital marketing agency, had collapsed only a week earlier. He had invested his last savings, borrowed from friends, and worked day and night. But it ended, like all the others, for a moment. Despair wrapped around him like a heavy blanket. He thought of giving up, finding a low-paying job just to survive, abandoning the wild chase for success. But then, as he looked around the cafe, he noticed something. The line at the counter was long, customers tapping their feet impatiently, some even leaving. The staff looked overwhelmed, the system slow, the payments clunky. And then it struck him. What if there was an app that made ordering coffee faster, smoother, and easier? The idea lit a spark in Ethan's tired heart. It was crazy. After all, he had failed 100 times already. But something in him whispered, "This is it. This is your 101st chance." The road of trials. Ethan dove into the idea with every ounce of energy he had left. He taught himself coding from free online resources. He reached out to small cafes, offering to test a prototype for free. Most owners turned him away, saying, "We can't risk another failed idea." But one small family-owned shop on the corner of 8th Avenue agreed to give him a chance. For weeks, Ethan worked at the shop for no pay, studying how customers ordered, how the lines formed, and where delays happened. He coded late into the night, surviving on instant noodles and cheap coffee. His eyes burning, but his spirit alive. The first version of his app crashed repeatedly. Customers complained. The cafe owner almost gave up on him. Ethan felt the familiar sting of failure hovering near. But instead of quitting, he gathered feedback, fixed bugs, and improved the design. The abyss one night, after months of work, Ethan looked at his bank account, nearly empty. His rent was overdue, and he had only a few dollars left. Sitting alone in his small apartment, the city lights blinking outside his window, he asked himself, what if everyone was right? What if I am a loser? For the first time in his journey, tears ran down his face. He had failed so many times that his failures felt like his identity. He wanted to give up. But then, his phone buzzed. It was a message from a cafe customer. "Hey, your app saved me so much time this morning. I love it. Please don't stop working on it." It was a small message, but it was enough. Ethan wiped his tears and whispered to himself, "This time, I won't quit." The transformation months later, Ethan's app, now called Brewfast, began spreading. First, a few local cafes used it. Then, word of mouth carried it further. Customers loved skipping long lines. Cafe owners loved the efficiency. Investors began to notice. Ethan, the man who had failed 100 times, was suddenly seen as a visionary. He stood on stages, sharing his story at startup events. Reporters wrote about the man who built success from failure. But Ethan never forgot the 100 attempts that broke him down. He never forgot the ridicule, the loneliness, the despair. And he never let success make him arrogant. When people asked him about his journey, he always said, "I didn't succeed in spite of failure. I succeeded because of it." Each failure was a lesson, a step toward this moment that returned with the elixir years later. Brewfast became one of the most popular cafe apps in the country. Ethan could afford luxuries he had once only dreamed of, but his real pride was something deeper. He mentored young entrepreneurs, teaching them not to fear failure. Standing in front of a group of students at a business seminar, Ethan told his story. He spoke of the 100 failed attempts, the sleepless nights, and the 101st chance that changed everything. The room was silent, every ear tuned to his words. And then he said the line that became his life's philosophy. Failure is not the opposite of success. It is the path that leads to it. If you failed once, or even 100 times, remember this: your 101st attempt might just be the one that changes your life. Moral of the story: failure doesn't define you. It refines you. Success is not avoiding failure, but embracing it, learning from it, and moving forward until the breakthrough comes.